As many of you know, the DIR philosophy was born in caves, and when UTD started to build their educational program, they went from the back to the front, if you like. They went with an end goal in mind, as we say. That means when a diver starts to learn to dive, it's impossible for the diver and the instructor to tell where this diver might end up. He might end up in caves like this or not. But if the base is the same, you can ensure and guarantee that diver that no matter where he'll end up as a diver, he'll never learn something he won't have to learn over or learn something different. It's just a building block principle that you can build on top of. And as soon as that diver decides, now I'm ready, I'm finished with building, fine. You got a solid diver. If you want to build on and continue with your experience, or go down other paths, rebreather diving, technical diving, cave diving, it's the same base we build upon. And for me, as an instructor trainer within UTD, I found it super interesting and super confirming being on a course like this with the knowledge I have to just fine tune it more and really get behind the nitty gritty of all the small details of why we do things the way we do. And a very, very big part of it is the thinking diver aspect. And that relates a lot, within cave diving at least, to gas planning. A lot of the gas planning we did was completely in minutia and to be proactive with the way you regard your gas consumption. So not just going in and expecting or agreeing upon a set pressure upon which you return to the exit, and then you just keep watching your SPG while it drops and say, hey, now I've reached it, and then we turn back. It's a bit more, I won't say complicated, but it's a bit more interesting than that. And I think it really, for me at least, hits the spot where you really can get a confirmation in why we do things the way we do things. The gas plan is a dynamic aspect. So a lot of people come to Casper and ask, with a lot of years of experience on a rebreather, for example, hey, can we take the cave class in a rebreather? Because I dive my rebreather and that's what I want to use in the caves. And that's all fair and well, but every rebreather diver knows when the rebreather fails, it's open circuit bailout. So we have to get that aspect into it, because it's not as simple as you think, just going on bailout. In an open water scenario, we always have an exit above us. In a cave scenario, we don't. And it can be a lot more complicated when it comes to gas planning than you might initially think. Any thoughts on that, Casper?
I think you hit the goal about it. And the thing is that if you have a rebreather failure, you're not able to get out quicker than you can do in open water, where you just can speed up the ascent and maybe get a little bit bent. But here you can't. You have all the way out. And we have a lot of aspects. It's when we swim, it's one speed, but in zero vis, it's another speed, and we use more gas and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a big part of the cave class to know the gas management.
Yeah. It really confirms that your instruments become something that can verify what you already know.
Yes.
So everything apart from the time that ticks on, you can even guess the time or calculate the time by gas consumption and vice versa. You know your average depth, you know how much you're swimming in, and then you know your pace at which you're swimming. Then you see an arrow with a number, and then you can say, okay, I should have used X minutes, and I should have used X amount gas. And then you can look at your bottom timer and say, yes, I'm within the mark, or wow, the flow is a bit harder, we're not on pace. And then confirming your gas, I should have about used this, and look, yes, that matches up. And now at this point, you know, I've used so much gas to come in, so probably also takes the same amount of gas to come out if nothing goes wrong. And it's all these things that makes you more proactive and gives you such a big advantage when it comes to situational awareness and enjoying more of the dive. Also that, and I think communication within the team, if everyone does these things for themselves, becomes so easy and so intuitive that a simple look and a nod can get you a long way because everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
Another great thing to mention that is the students that were on your class now. Myself, I'm an instructor trainer for UTD on the technical side. Had cave training for many years back in another organization. We have Brian, which has been doing a lot of training with me within the technical diving side and knows a lot about the UTD jargon. And then we have Mons, who came in from a completely different organization with relative little UTD training experience. But I think I can speak for all of us to say that we have all grown from our respective places up the whole, you know, as they say, if the tide rises, all boats float up.
Yeah, and that shows the strength of the DEAR concept, that you can just basically sign up for the class and then you have the basic skills down to it. But what I liked especially about the class was the heavy focus on gas planning and navigation skills, and that in this case Casper talks about he actually dives the dives that he's talking about and that he's teaching, you know, and he has a lot of all the small practical tips and tricks there, like that's really good on the course. So yeah.
We dive the way we teach and we train the way we dive.
Exactly.